Right, let me just get the questions up here. Get off the Wi-Fi there.
Are you gonna like invert the video when you post it as well?
What?
Like invert the video?
Why?
Because you know when like you record a back camera, like it's not inverted, like your faces always look weird. Please invert it. Please invert
just
it.
what? I can
Just
do that
flip
on...
it. Yeah, just
Fine.
invert it on.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. No, because it's my biggest pet peeve.
That's fine. Okay, here we are. So, Elizabeth, please introduce yourself to the world for me.
So my name's Elizabeth Joseph-Adigun and I'm the founder of the HerEstate Network. Alongside that, I'm also a public speaker about young voices and young talent.
Fine. So how did you get into the industry for where you are today? Let's give a walkthrough of sort of how college was, because you're still very young, aren't you? So you were in your first year of degree apprenticeship, but you've obviously now put that on hold. Yeah. But let's go on what the degree apprenticeship was and basically how you started HerEstate.
So I was a degree apprentice in site management, which was basically when I would be on a construction site in many different areas. So I've worked in sites in Cambridge, worked in sites in Essex, and what I would do was that I would just make sure that things are running smoothly. For example, projects were completed by a certain deadline. And I kind of got into that sector through networking. So I started networking around the age of 15. I was going to networking events where I would hear people from the sector speaking, also just events where I could speak to people who were already in the role as well. And in terms of HerEstate, that started through my experiences of networking. So being a female in the corporate space, especially in real estate property construction, I'd never come across any females in the sector, or I'd never networked with a female project manager or a female site manager. So I decided that with HerEstate, there were many other young females that also wanted to be in that role, which is proven through my journey of posting and vlogging everything I'd done on TikTok and on LinkedIn. So every time I went to an event, put a post on LinkedIn. And yeah, so HerEstate started through that because many young girls wanted to do what I was doing or wanted to gain opportunities. So just to create a community where they feel comfortable to do so.
And what stood out about real estate to you? Why was that your chosen industry?
I would definitely say it was simply because I was able to change lives through what I was doing. So at first, I actually wanted to go into law and politics, but I realised I wasn't that smart. So I was like, if you want to change the world without going into politics, simply go into real estate, because you're building the future, you're making decisions, you're hearing young voices and what the people of the future want. No, what the people of the present want for their futures.
Yeah.
So you're able to build towards that, accommodate that through literally everything.
Nice.
So.
And what did you feel was missing for the younger generation in the industry for you to start the HerEstate Network?
Representation and visibility. I would say that there were many people, so not saying that the women in project management weren't there, they just weren't visible. You didn't really hear of them, you didn't really hear from them, see them, have the chance to network and talk with them. So with HerEstate, I think when we realised that that's something that young girls were lacking, we then decided to work with a lot more women in leadership and also just give them that visibility to be able to impact the younger generation.
And what was the first networking event that you would go to? Was it the RICS Matrix ones?
Yes, so I did attend quite a lot of the RICS networking events with young pro as well, young professionals, I believe. There were also so many just scattered around. I've been to more than like 15 over the years,
really?
So I was networking quite a bit.
Good.
So, yeah.
And you do events with the HerEstate as well?
Yes.
So do you have any lined up for that?
Yes, so we do have quite a couple. We have some to help A-level students coming up. We also have some to help young degree apprentices how to learn how they can manage their money, to learn how they can manage their finance as well. So yeah, we do have quite a few.
I suppose you're quite pro degree apprenticeship, perhaps over university. So why should young people go into degree apprenticeships for the real estate industry over going to university?
It's more tangible. It's something you can hold, something more vocational as well. So in terms of me, the reason why I chose to do the apprenticeship journey over uni is simply because of the sector I was in. So if I wanted to be a site manager or a project manager, that wouldn't be possible by reading a book for like 6 years.
Yeah.
So I knew that I had to get on site, had to get that hands-on experience. Therefore, I chose an apprenticeship. And also, I was kind of tired of school, tired of academics. I just wanted to get into the real working world and actually get a feel of what my future would look like at a young age. So that's my reasons as to why I think apprenticeships are good.
And what were some of the barriers for you to get into the industry?
I would say limited access. So obviously with me, I was lucky enough to network, but whilst networking, there were many young people that would say, I have links in the industry, my parents work in the industry, my cousin, my auntie, my uncle, and I was just here like, I don't have any cat, dog, auntie, uncle that works in the industry, so how am I going to get there? So that was kind of a barrier. And a second barrier was feeling like I didn't belong in those spaces, or as some people call it, imposter syndrome, where I wasn't seeing people like me in the sector, wasn't seeing women in the sector in roles that I wanted to do. So that was kind of a barrier, but I didn't let it manifest itself as a barrier.
Fine. And for some of the young people watching, what are the routes that they can take to get into the industry? Do you think they should go for the degree apprenticeships more so than the university route, and what are some of the avenues that they can go down for the degree apprenticeship?
Okay, so I would say in terms of a degree apprenticeship, definitely networking on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a route in itself, because LinkedIn can open doors for you that money can't, in all fairness. Because one thing I always say is that investing in people is the largest investment you can ever make. If you invest your 20 minutes speaking to a professional, you're going to make back so much more. So definitely for young people, get on LinkedIn, build a profile, build a name for yourself, build a USP. Like, just put yourself out there, because that can get you through doors that no one else can open for you. And that's through like more of a degree apprenticeship-ish route. I would once again say networking is very powerful if you want to go down that route, because with a degree apprenticeship, it's kind of reasons why you should be in the working world. And one key factor is communication and networking.
Is that how you got your degree apprenticeship? Was through
I would
through your
definitely
networking
say,
events?
definitely through networking, and also not just the events. I wasn't just showing up, I was showing out. So even on my LinkedIn, I would make sure that when I'm posting, I'm I have an intent behind why I'm posting what I'm posting, so that when I go to an interview, I know what I'm talking about, and employers can also tell that, okay, she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah. So would you say you're quite commercially aware? Do you know what's going on in the real estate market?
And I would say that helped me to get my apprenticeship, because it shows that I'm aware of what I'm stepping into.
Yeah. And how do you stay on top of that?
I would definitely say reading the news.
Yeah.
So for example, being a business A-level student, my teacher always told me, read the news, you need to know what's going on. But just reading the news and learning more about what's going on around you can definitely help. In terms of just knowing what young people are lacking, knowing what people in general are lacking, learning more about what's going on in your area as well is something very important in real estate, because as I said in the beginning, it's all about impacting people and helping people to have a better lifestyle through where they live and their communities.
Fine. So you started networking at 15, Were people quite open to meeting up with you? What was that? Was it like a numbers game where you reach out to lots of people?
I would say not that many people were open. I think I just had to kind of be a pest. So maybe I'll email someone twice, 3 times, because although some people in the Gen Z might say, oh, you're being a beg, I feel like me being that beg got me into rooms that non-beggars couldn't be in. So I would say people were open once I showed that I'm actually serious about this. I'm not just looking for work experience. I'm not just looking for insight. I'm actually looking to gain knowledge. Then,
And how can other people grow their network from scratch? Do you recommend people give them a call, or through LinkedIn, just reaching out on LinkedIn?
Yeah. I would definitely say reaching out on LinkedIn, but also reaching out to people close to you as well, because you never know who's around you. So even in HerEstate, I always tell the girls when they're networking, you don't know who the person you're sitting next to can become in 10 years, 5 years. You don't know if they have an auntie, uncle, brother, sister that works in the industry that you could tap into and say, hey, I'm interested in this. So in terms of how to get started, definitely do leverage the people you have around you first. But if you're struggling, reach out to companies, ask for phone calls, ask for coffees, just simple Teams call. That's it.
Yeah. And you've done a few events with HerEstate. You've done one at Collier's a few weeks ago. How have those events given the people in your community an opportunity?
It's given them insight. So I would definitely say many young people, they lack knowledge and insight, hence why they're scared to go into rooms, because they normally tend to deny themselves before the room can even deny them, because they tend to believe I'm not supposed to be here because I don't know. So hosting that event with Colliers allowed them to actually know what's going on, to learn more about not just residential but also the comms part of real estate, commercial, and that also gave them a little bit more confidence to walk into other rooms, because they've been in rooms where there's CEOs, employers, future leaders, so it just gives them that confidence.
And before we started filming this video, you said at the first few networking events that you went to, you sort of hid in the toilet a bit and were a bit scared.
Yeah.
What made you forget all of that and put, I suppose, maybe a confident face on and go out there and start talking to people?
Yeah. I would definitely say the mindset of I'm never going to see these people ever again. Yeah. So what's the worst that can happen? Like, what's the worst someone can say to me? Probably no, go away, I don't want to talk to you. Like, and that's even a stretch. So just getting over the mindset of I don't belong here and realising I'm here for a reason. I wouldn't be in this room if I wasn't supposed to be here. And even if I feel like I'm not supposed to be here, why not try and maximise what I can whilst I'm here? Which is speaking to people, just saying hi, simple conversation, how was your journey, just conversations like that.
It's got you far. So you were at MIPIM the other week. How was your time there?
MIPIM was great. It rained though.
Did it?
It wasn't all sunny, but it was good. Yeah.
Were you the youngest person there, would you say?
Yes. So I actually did not come across anyone 18.
No.
To be fair, when I told people I was 18, they were like, "What?" Even speaking on a panel, I was blessed enough to speak on a panel through Regeneration Brainery, which is another great network I think young people should join. And I was the youngest on the panel, and when I started speaking, they were like, "This is unbelievable."
Yeah. And were you nervous?
No, I would say I've always said if you don't stand for something, you fall for everything. And because I knew what I was going to say on the platform, like I knew what the message was, which was why young people matter in leadership and why young views matter when leaders are making choices. Coming from someone who's actually young, it's more or less like, this is what I believe and this is my norm. So
nice. So why do young people's views matter?
I would say young people's views matter simply because we're building our future. So we know what we want for our future. For example, many more people in leadership, they tend to be older. Like, you're not going to see a 25-year-old being a CEO. Obviously, they tend to be quite senior in their role. And an issue that I think many companies are facing is that the people in leadership are very stuck in their ways. Like, they just know the world for what they've always known it to be. So just having young people bringing that innovation, that like the creative aspect of things, especially in the Gen Z era, we're like the youngest gen to have the most entrepreneurs. Like, we are very creative and we bring perspectives that many people can't bring. So that's why young people matter. So
what's one thing that all of these viewers could do today to help them get one step closer to being in the industry?
I would say finding your USP. So for those who don't know what a USP is, it's a unique selling point. What makes you different and what makes you stand out? Whether that be a skill that's related to the industry or not, that's completely up to you. So with me, I would say another thing that got my foot into the industry was my use of social media. So as I said, I vlogged everything I done. I posted on LinkedIn, TikTok, whether my editing was great, whether it was bad, whether the mic was fuzzy, whether it was clear, I still put myself out there. And that was my unique selling point. The girl that puts herself out there and vlogs her every day, whether I was there with the 0.5 camera or not, it kind of helps me to stand out against the crowd. So for young people, you need to find what will make you different to the person sitting next to you.
Fine. And people that are watching may not have a direct route into the industry. They may not have really heard much about real estate or what it was, because when I was back in college, I only thought you could be a developer or go into like an estate agency. But since starting university, I've realised that there's so many different routes that you can go down. So why should young people get into real estate and be a leader in that industry?
Young people should step into this sector simply because, as I said, this is our future, and if we don't take control of that, then we're just going to be the same ones whinging, oh, this isn't the future I wanted, So I would definitely say that the built environment needs us as young people. They want to hear from you. They want to know what you want and what you want your future generations to benefit from. And definitely in terms of being young, you bring views that no one else can bring. Like, is very heavy on the term you only live once. You really only ever do live once. And everybody comes from a different background. Everyone has a different story. So you matter everywhere you go. So you bring in your narrative, your story, your perspective, your background adds value that no one else can add simply because it's you.
Considering it's such an important sector, why don't you think it's pushed as much in schools and things like that? Because everyone sort of pushed you to either go into like the financial side or the law side when I was back in school and college, and you hear everyone and that's what they say they want to do. I didn't hear once that you should go into property. So why do you think that is?
I actually don't know, and I think that's a very good question that schools would have to answer. But I would definitely say probably because it's not the most popular, it's not the most trad. And I would say, did you go to a sixth form as well?
Yeah.
So I think it's mainly because we went to sixth form. So many people think sixth form is more academic, like finance, law, banking, accounting. But people tend to see college as more of like a vocational route. So they would push things like bricklaying, property in those sectors because it's more hands-on. I think that may be why. I think it's probably because of we went to sixth form, probably, because I know many young people in college who they've gone into trades, and that's also another big problem because they only push trades, they don't push the commercial side, residential side. So
And you started HerEstate, when was it? Back in
September 2025.
September, and you've now got a network of how
reaching 700 to 800 girls already.
And what's been the most rewarding part so far?
I would say seeing young people's lives turn around and hearing it. So many young girls have gotten jobs, apprenticeships, gone past interviews. They've finally been able to put something on their CV. And one thing about me is I'm very, very big on giving. I know that I would definitely say I'm blessed in terms of being able to speak on panels at a young age, being flown to other countries to be on panels and network. It's not very common. And I would say that I'm someone that believes if you have opportunity, you are now a responsible individual. It's your responsibility to make sure you don't just keep it for yourself. You make sure that other people around you also share part of it. So the most rewarding part of it is just hearing young girls, just young people saying, you know what, because I joined this network, I've been able to get a job, I've been able to help my family, I've been able to find who I really am, work in my dream sector. You really don't know how you're changing people's lives.
And what's your future plans with the network?
I would definitely say just to carry on impacting lives the way we are. With HerEstate, we're very focused on results. So we like to see when girls are coming forward saying, I've been able to hand in my CV's finally full. We're very big on being able to have young girls say, I'm now confident to walk into rooms and network. So I think we'll just carry on doing what we're doing now, because I think we're going at a good pace, carry on working with companies to help with a work experience.
And sorry, when did you say your next event was?
So our next event is actually in like 2 weeks.
Okay.
So it's an event to help A-level students. So we're planning to get tutors to come in and just educate and help the A-level students, because exams start in like 3 or 4 weeks. And also just teaching them how they can actually link their A-levels to real estate.
And how can people get involved?
We're actually sending out links and we're sending out flyers very soon. So
I'll put a link on this episode probably.
Definitely.
I'll put a link at the bottom, so anyone that wants to get involved with the events, just click that. Definitely. I'm sure it's very easy.
Yes, and it's completely free as well. So at HerEstate, we do believe that finance should not be a barrier to opportunity.
Definitely. And it's not just for the girls, though. You say you've got boys at the events as well.
So with this event, it's going to be a mixed event, boys and girls. And I must put out there, the reason why it is a girls-only network is because the property industry is quite predominantly male, so there's very few females in these sectors. For example, I experienced it firsthand. I was the only female on my site, never really worked with another female.
Really?
So definitely that could make some women feel like, am I even supposed to be working there? So that's why HerEstate is there, just to empower young females and to help them realise you can do it, and the doors are open for you.